One. Hello and welcome to the first Boy Choir Banter of 2021. I'm Forrest and I've been in the Boy Choir for 9 years and I just graduated this semester.
Hi, my name is Ian. I've been in the boy choir for 7 years, going on 8 now, and I'm looking forward to staying around and being on the show right now.
We'd like to welcome members of the Raleigh Boy Choir. So would you mind introducing yourselves?
Hi, my name is Patrick. I've been in the Raleigh Boy Choir for 6 years, and yeah.
Hello, my name is Maxwell, and I've been in the boy choir for 4 years now.
Hello, my name is Divi, and I've been in the Raleigh Boy Choir for 3 years now. I started in resident choir, and then I'm now in YME, or Young Men's Ensemble.
Great. And I forgot to bring in one of our Cincinnati Boy Choir singers who's behind the scenes for most of this. So let me do that now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Leader. I've been in the Boy Choir for 4 years. I will be working backstage on this Boy Choir Banter.
I'd also like to introduce Jeremy Tucker, who's the director of the Raleigh Boy Choir.
Thank you, Forrest, and thank you, Mr. Holmes, for giving us the invitation to talk about something that we feel is pretty important and valuable, the Boy Choir, Raleigh Boy Choir, and Cincinnati Boy Choir. So thank you, and it's good to see you all again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also like to welcome, of course, Mr. Holmes, the director of the Cincinnati Boy Choir.
Hi, everyone. Since we're talking about how long we've been with the Boy Choir, I've just finished my 2nd year in the Boy Choir, so perhaps I should be a lot younger than I actually am, but oh well. Here we are. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so with everybody introduced, I'd like to go over what exactly Boy Choir Banter is. So this Boy Choir Banter is a sort of conversation series so that we can keep in touch with each other even when the Boy Choir year, for us at least, is over for now. And it's a way to spread the word about the Boy Choir world, maybe to places that wouldn't have heard of it before. And with all of that said, I'd like to remind everybody that you can feel free to put your comments in YouTube or Facebook. And let's just dive right into what we have planned today then.
So first of all, I want to talk about the foundation of Boy Choir, what really makes it special, and that's the music. And specifically the genre of music that we've been singing over the years and how it's changed. Back when I first joined the Boy Choir, the highest level choir, which was known as the tour choir at the time, was going to Britain. So we were singing a lot of classical music. And then as the years went on, we sang more gospel music and jazz music when we toured to the American South. And then South African songs when we went to South Africa. And finally, Hispanic church songs for our cultural curriculum around Hispanic music. Of course, we wouldn't be as warmed up without a good routine. So we have a somewhat set in stone routine for our warm-ups and our rehearsals. So we start off with lip trills and breathing exercises and vowel exercises and posture alignments. Do you guys do anything similar?
Yes, actually we do. Kind of basically exactly what you said. Sometimes we'll like really get into the motions. We'll start running or like jumping. Not running. Why would I say that? We do like jumping jacks or something to get the blood going, because it's Monday and we're usually pretty tired. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that about sums it up. I feel like we always do like stretches, and especially it's always a good time for some of the students to lead. Like we lead the stretches or we'll lead the warm-ups, and that's a great way to practice our leadership.
Yeah, we've done stretches too. We've done jumping jacks on occasion. That's not we haven't done that very much, but if we're looking kind of tired, that always just helps to wake us up. Anyone else?
So then another thing we can get into on the topic of the whole music thing might be how music has led you to meet other people through like tours or connections through people coming to visit you or you visiting other people or these sort of collaborations like this one maybe. So are there like any sort of those special memories that have stuck out to you? Because like with me, of course, like going on tours, you get to meet so many different people from different cultures. Like what Forrest said when we went back down to South Africa, that was a really big moment because you got to see so many different people that you never would have got to meet outside of your own, or inside of where you live normally. So stuff like that really impacts you. So I wanted to know what were some of the experiences that you guys got with other people through choir?
When I first joined choir, I was actually in the 5th grade. I was really introverted. I didn't have any friends, and when I joined, it kind of felt like at home. Everyone was really welcoming, and I don't know, it just felt like I needed to join sooner or something. But yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. I'll say that I wouldn't be the person I am today if not for choir. It really just helped me with not only music but interpersonal skills, meeting people, talking to them, which I guess is pretty important when you're rehearsing with others and you have to interact with them.
Yeah, I would definitely say like, especially like everyone in our choir, I know pretty well for like, I mean, I've at least known them for 2 or 1 year. This is my first year in the YME, and I definitely felt like I met a few people I didn't know as well. And also, I've only been to one tour, but it was really nice to see like how life was in like New York and kind of how like the culture will work there.
Yes, I agree. So when I first came to the Raleigh Boychoir, um, I never knew anyone, and now some of the boys are my best friends.
So I think you mentioned tours, and in my opinion, tours are just they're my favorite part of boy choir. And for me, like the most enjoyable tour was our tour to South Africa a few years ago. I met people and saw landscapes and learned about the history of South Africa, and all of those things were totally different from what you'd see in the U.S. And it just gave me a more holistic understanding of the world. Do you have anything like that? Any tours that were so memorable that they'll just stick with you, and then they just improved your understanding of the world, like South Africa did for me?
Well, I've been on several tours with the boy choir, but none as far as like South Africa. Uh, um, I mean, we've been to New York. I went to Ireland on my first ever trip. Um, that was fun. I actually met a lot of my friends there. Yeah, New York was really where I got to see how like different music is, because we went to what is it called? It's like we saw a Broadway show. That's right. And it was just really cool to see people, like really enjoying what they do and making a living out of it. And that's pretty awesome.
I'm just gonna add on to that. Also, we did get to talk with the cast and learn some things about Broadway, which were really interesting. And that was a lot of fun. I felt like that kind of heightened the experience of actually getting to see Broadway. We even got to see the inworks of the studio that they were in, or the stage that they were in. We got to see all the inner workings of it.
I'm going to jump in here just for a minute. Ian, you shared something about a tour that might have something to do with our guests. Well, we kind of before we went live. Do you want to share that with the audience now?
Yeah, I can do that. One of the biggest things that stuck out to me was, or lasted with me, was the homestays that we got to do while we were there, because you got to meet other people that were part of the choir and you got to form relationships with them as you were staying with them. And even if it was only for 2 or 3 days, it was really nice to be able to meet those people. And of course, being able to sing with other people in different choirs around the country was really nice. Meeting people like Mr. Tucker, of course. So I think that was a really good tour, and it's put an impact on me, and I would do it again. I would definitely recommend going down there again.
He mentioned homestays, and it's been a while since we've done them, but I will say they're so fun because you really get to meet people more closely that way, just staying with them. I mean, I've never actually stayed in contact with them, but it's really helped me just get to know them better. So I guess another thing about tours that are another thing about tours is the cultural experiences, and I guess what I would connect to this is the Cincinnati Boychoirs cultural curriculum. And then I'm going to give an example of this. We had a cultural curriculum that involved the American South, the Pacific Northwest, and our South Africa tours. And that was generally about Black music. And then we were also working about through our Hispanic cultural curriculum that was sadly cut short by COVID-19. They're on like a 3-year time span. Do you guys do anything like this?
Looks like Patrick had something to say but needed to step away for a minute. So when Patrick comes back, we will circle back to that question. Let's talk a little bit about kind of our rehearsal process. What does it look like kind of learning all the music and learning the kind of music theory skills? Let's go to our Raleigh friends first, Max and or Divi. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can. We already talked about a little bit. Obviously, we do like a lot of stretching at the beginning and warm ups for our voice. Especially like a lot of ones that help us with diction. Those are big ones for us and help a lot. And like also ones that help our pitch as well. And then after that, we get into the main songs that we're singing, and I feel like that's when you like really get into it. It's when you like really start to like learn new music, and it's really fun because I get to learn music that I heard them perform before, and I was like, I want to perform this, and then when you get to do it, it's like really motivating. You want to do more.
Yeah, I'd like to add on. So before every rehearsal, we have a few minutes in the game room, and this helps us bond together so we sing better together as a team. And so when we are singing together, we're actually comfortable singing with each other.
So I know for us, like, similar to that, what we do is before rehearsals, we have maybe everyone will show up about 5-10 minutes early. We all have this sort of time where everybody's in the lobby of the Aronoff Center, which is where we rehearse. And, you know, we'd have time just to talk to each other, ask people, make the small talk about how their day's been going. It's a really nice way to get to know people as well, so that we all sing well together, like adding on to that. And I think one of the ways that we best learn our music was we have a music theory program where we just learn about the basics of music and how it's written, how we should take it apart, and learn how to do things with it from there. And that really helps us sing because we can actually know why music does what it does. So that's very helpful.
And I'd like to add on to what Ian said about music theory. So you have these beginning of year and end of year exams that that really give us a way to see where we are at the beginning of the year and how much we've grown at the end of the year in terms of theory, and how much we need to grow to just become better musicians as a whole.
I can relate to that. So in performing choir, we used to do a program called Breezing Through Theory, where we had to complete a few chapters every week, and that teaches us a little bit of theory every week.
The funny thing is, we actually did that as well, and then before that, we did a series of books that I can't remember the name of, but we did those too.
Oh, yes, I also remember that. We did that series of books, I think, in resident choir. That definitely built up my theory a bit and helped me practice for singing. I don't remember the books though. I just remember we had to complete a specific amount to move on to the next choir.
Cool. Before Ian, before I toss it to you to kind of do our thank you and sign off, I wonder, is there anything that we haven't talked about that is like, if boy choir is anything, it is fill in the blank that you think the world should know about singing in a boy choir?
Well, if I'm going to say the boy choir is anything, I would say that the boy choir is community. It's about all the people that you know in the choir and stuff like that. Because really, what keeps me coming back is that it feels like a second home to me. And I think that is really, and our passion for music like drives us to come together, and that's where it all stems from.
Welcome back, Patrick. There was one question about cultural experiences on tours, Patrick, that Mr. Tucker thought that you might have something to say about, especially with the tour to Ireland.
Oh, I can't really remember much from that trip. Oh no. Oh God, I remember singing in oh, I'm so sorry. I have, it's completely slipped my mind. I can't remember.
It's okay. It's not a quiz. We can help you out if you want. Mr. Tucker, you want to kind of throw him a hint or something there?
Yeah, I think we sang at Christ Church and St. Patrick's, but then we also, one of the meaningful, I think, experiences was going actually out into the country of Ireland and singing in some faith communities with some of the native there. And it was great because we got to hear another authentic Irish choir just like us. And then they got to hear us, and then we sang together. So I think that cultural experience with a connection there, that was a big moment for the tour. Actually, that was something I think a lot of them remembered more than the actual prestige of singing at a place like St. Patrick's. So, yeah.
while we're on the subject of, I guess, specific cultural experiences, basically right after we got off the plane in South Africa, we went straight to Desmond Tutu's church. Who, if you know anything about South Africa's history, he's a big deal to say the least. And we sang with the church choir there, and one thing that kind of stuck in my mind was that there were these rolling blackouts that were affecting South Africa at the time because of just general resource inavailability. So we huddled around these gas lamps that because it was so cold, and then they also provided a little bit of light. And yeah, it was just magical looking back on it.
Interesting that the experiences that our boys remember, Mr. Holmes, are a lot centered around correct pitch and how many parts they sing in a piece, but most of them are on the experiences that the vehicle of music is providing, like what these guys have just kind of talked about. It's pretty awesome.
I agree. It's awesome to hear that. Because I think, guys, you may or may not know this, but as directors, we're always trying to find these really great musical experiences for you. But it's also good for us to hear like the feedback, the things that stick in your mind 3, 4, 5 years later. So that's cool. We have a question coming in from Craig Bushman. Say hello, Dad, for us. The question is for the Raleigh Boy Choir. How many are in the Boy Choir, and do you have treble as well as changed voices?
We do. Pre-COVID, we had almost just 4 years ago, we started our Changed Voices ensemble, young men's ensemble. And pre-COVID, we had around 25 in that group. And so, yeah, we have continued to grow and grow down here.
That's awesome to hear. It sounds very similar. We've been on a similar trajectory in terms of when we started to have changed voices as part of the choir also. Forrest, you probably remember the Cincinnati Boy Choir pre-changed voices and post-changed voices, right?
Yeah. Well, I actually was like part of, back when they were calling it the tour choir rather than the ambassadors. I had just gotten into the tour choir at that time, so I hadn't actually sung with changed voices prior to that. So it was kind of a whole different experience that I had not adapted to before. So.
Cool.
But I'm glad they allowed it, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be here.
Right. I probably wouldn't know you if the changed voices were not in the choir. So that's really cool. It is an adjustment, right, to figure out how it all works together. All right. Is there anything else that we're forgetting to talk about in terms of boy choirs, or any other questions from our audience who might be watching now?
Hey,
right.
Holmes, I wonder, you were asking about like what boy choir is, and I think maybe Ian went, but maybe, I don't know if Patrick and Dibby and Max, y'all want to like respond to that. What do you think of, and what's so different?
Well, for me, joining Young Men's, just having like all boys in the choir to like experience what I was going through with my voice change was nice, because I before in my other choir there wasn't a lot of boys. It was kind of just me and a ton of girls in my middle school choir, and I was struggling. I didn't know what the heck was happening, and it was nice that other people were having the same issues, and we kind of all worked through it together.
I felt like being in a performing choir, I definitely didn't have a changed voice like a while, and seeing all the people like the young men's ensemble, or like going up to the young men's ensemble, like having changed voices, that kind of like prepared me. So it was kind of weird thing. I actually had my voice change over the after we kind of broke off when COVID happened. So it was kind of a blessing and a curse, because I didn't really get to experience it with the boy choir, but also I didn't have to kind of like have the lower range usually that people have when the concert rolled around. So I definitely think that like we should give more like give a lesson to people that are younger than us, on the changing voice. And I feel like people that know it can.
Yeah, I think the changing voice, the community for changing voices is it's such a cool part of what we can do in a boy choir. It kind of gives me an idea that we can talk about, Mr. Tucker. We've been doing these like change voice meetups via Zoom for over the summer, because like it's one thing when you're singing and you were right there to kind of guide folks through it, but what if it starts happening during the summer and you're like, what's going on? Nothing feels right. We've been doing these just little small group things so that boys can kind of identify what's happening with their voices, and we can talk through how to kind of work through that. So that's something else that we could perhaps collaborate on, because it's Zoom and we can do that from anywhere. Cool. All right. Well, if there's not anything else, Ian, why don't you start wrapping us up here?
All right. So it looks like there's nothing else to share about. I'd like to open the floor to Raleigh guys. If you have any events that you'd like to share with people, now is your chance.
Yeah, so we have camps available to any fourth grade boy up to high school throughout the summer. We also are holding virtual and in-person auditions to join any of our choirs over the next month. And we also have a full season of performances and activities planned for next year. And if you're out there listening, I'd encourage you to go to RaleighBoychoir.org, and you can sign up and find out more information about any of those items. Unless you're in Cincinnati, you could come and just sing virtually, and we would, we could do is that okay, Mr. Holmes? We need to plan for another tour together and a homestay together, because that was a highlight for these guys.
Yes, I agree. I was going to say, if you're in Cincinnati, go to CincinnatiBoychoir.org and do the same stuff. We're doing not camps over the summer, but there are auditions coming up over the summer and another summer activity. Sorry, was there anything else, Mr. Tucker, that you? Okay, cool. This is a good segue, I think, to bring Josh back in.
Hello,
Here's Josh.
everyone. So an event that's taking place from the Cincinnati Boy Choir is our Cincinnati Boy Choir scavenger hunt. So this is a fundraiser for our boy choir. So instead of selling something people never use, we want to sell adventure. So you pick up a box once you registered online, and you get a packet which a bunch of puzzles. So with these puzzles, you walk downtown or take the trolley and answer the questions. Once you've answered the questions, you register online, and you can win prizes for yourself. So some of the iconic places we are having you visit are like the Red Ballpark Stadium or the OTR Kroger. Just wanted to let you know about this. This will really help with supporting the boy choir. And, of course, it will be very fun for the family.
Thank you, Josh. There's also more boy choir banter this summer. One of those is on June, excuse me, June 24th. That'll be with some of our local arts partners here in Cincinnati, specifically, for example, the Biokoto Cultural Center, which came and did some West African dancing classes for us during this year via Zoom. So dancing in my little home office was kind of hilarious, but it was fun to do, and we learned a lot. So we're looking forward to that Boychoir banter also. Ian, back to you.
All right, then with that, I don't think we have anything else that we were going to go over then. So I don't know. Guess this is it. Thank you all for coming. Thank you everybody in the chats who showed up, asked questions, just said anything. And we'll see you all next time then.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
y'all.
Thanks for watching.